What's up, guys? Baer here. Got a little snow on the ground. It's March 7th, I believe, and today is the first day of gardening season for me. Gonna plant all my tomatoes right now, so gotta go inside the greenhouse, grab my wheelbarrow, get all my soil mixed up, grab all my planters, write up a schematic, and get this underway. So with that being said, roll that intro. Alright, we're inside the greenhouse. Last fall, I took all my grass clippings and leaf clippings and everything and threw it in here in a big pile. Try to get some compost and leaf litter going for the next season. Didn't break down too well right now. Well, still good enough though. It's gonna help me save a lot of water, keep the plants nice and healthy, and provide a nice cover crop for the earthworms and all the insects that are beneficial for my garden. So, grabbing the wheelbarrow, and we're gonna head in the garage and mix up the soil and get the planters down from the loft and get this started. Let's do it! Alright, before I get started, definitely gonna light up the old propane heater here. Just filled up the tank, so it should be good to go for a few hours. 40,000 BTUs of heaty goodness. Let's do it! Alright, so I got the wheelbarrow in the garage, I got the heater on, just gotta go find my soil. Be right back. Found it! So, I'm using Pro Mix General Mix. It's basically just peat moss and coconut fiber and a few other things, no fertilizer. I add the fertilizer in myself so I control the ratios a little better since they are seedlings. Don't want to go too wild with that. So, let's go ahead and throw this in the wheelbarrow, throw some fertilizer in it, and start filling the old planters up. Boop. There's only one way to open up a bale of Pro Mix, and that's with a really big Bowie knife. Look at this. It's good stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot it has perlite and vermiculite in it as well. It looks like it's a little bit chunky frozen. It's not perfectly dry, so just have to break up the crumbles a little bit. We'll probably only use about half of this and use the rest next year. It's gonna go a long way. I saved probably like 40 bucks buying this instead of buying little bags like I usually have. So now let's get this all on this wheelbarrow and get the fertilizer mixed up. And let's go to time lapse. Boop. That took about 45 minutes to break up all the ice chunks in the soil. I guess it was a little moist and it's been in my garage since end of December, so it was kind of chunky. So it's pretty much broken up. There's a few smaller pieces, but they're all less than an inch in diameter, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now what we're gonna do, I have this Burpee Organic Seedling Fertilizer. Now I just want to clear things up. I only use fertilizer for two things. I use it when I start my seeds, and I use it for my fruit trees. I don't use it for anything else because my compost-enriched soil is so healthy. All the nutrients I need are just already there. But as far as starting seeds, I just want to make sure they get a good start. And then fruit trees are just a very large investment, and I can make a huge profit off them. So I just want to make sure they stay healthy and stay ahead of the deer, because the deer do like to eat all the greenery off the fruit trees. So I just want to give them enough nutrients so they can recover every time the deer massacre my trees, because there's really nothing I can do because I live in the city. I can't shoot the deer, I can't do anything to harass deer in the city because it's actually illegal. So that's that. We're gonna need, it says about 2 cups for every 1 cubic foot of soil. I have roughly 2 cubic feet here. And I got this Starbucks cup for my measure here. So we're gonna do like 1.5 full cups of fertilizer mixed in here. All this fertilizer is the usual bone meal, phosphorus, some chicken meal, chicken manure, basic all organic ingredients. I mean, I I still hate using this stuff, but I just want to make sure my seedlings get really strong, really fast. So I get them in the ground and make a huge profit off them on my produce stand. So that's what this is all about. I love growing, but in the end, this is all about selling my produce at the stand. Last year was the first year I started selling, and I'm pretty much hooked now. But I want to make sure I have a huge crop of tomatoes. I ended up growing close to 200 pounds last year, and I ran into a lot of blight problems, so if I take care of everything very well this year, I should land at least 300 or 400 pounds of tomatoes. I do sell them fairly cheap, under $1 a pound for organic heirloom tomatoes, which I could probably charge more, but I just like seeing them go out. Got a few regular customers that come by every day and buy most of my tomatoes. Also growing some, probably 3 different kinds of cucumbers this year. Pickling cucumbers, straight eggs, and some Armenian cucumbers, some mammoth sunflowers, elephant garlic, crookneck squash, zucchini, mini pumpkins, high pumpkins and full-size pumpkins, scallop squash, what else? Some blue corn, and a few other things, as well as on my fruit trees. So, well, looks like the soil is pretty much mixed up. So I can grab the containers now from the loft and start filling them up and get inside. The trick to any kind of peat moss soil is you definitely want to water it before you put the seeds in, because it is hydrophobic, which means when you put water on it, it beads on the top, and it can create a horrible mess if you put the seeds in it before that, put the water on, and then the seeds tend to float away, and like sometimes even float out of the container, so it's just a worthless mess. So always pre-water before you put the seeds in it, and it'll save you a ton of headache time in the end. All right, let's grab those containers. All right, got my containers down from the loft. What I use, this is a 4-inch by 5-inch depth square planter. I bought 100 of these for about, I think, 35 bucks on Amazon. Before, I would have to use like 20-ounce drink cups and stuff like that, and I would have to transplant halfway in between. I got so sick of that, so I just found something that I only have to put the seeds in once and then plant straight in the garden afterwards, because they provide enough depth where the roots don't roll around in circles too much and create too much root bounding, and they just fit perfectly inside these trays. I forget how many fit in the tray. I think it's 24 per tray, so they fit perfectly in here, and you'll see in a few minutes of my light setup, I fit 4 flats perfectly under the light system I have, and everything just works great. So with that being said, let's fill up all these containers. Alright, so I was off a little bit. Each flat only holds 18 of these planters, but that's still 72 tomato plants. I have roughly maybe 150 feet worth of rows to plant my tomatoes in, so it'll give it a nice space in between, and I can probably even interplant some squash in there and be safe. So now that everything's filled up, I'm gonna take these inside and give them a nice pre-water with some warm water to help break up the rest of these little icy chunks here. Let them sit for a second, soak through, and gotta get the trays marked to what tomato plants are going in what, and then we can start planting the seeds, get the light set up, get the blanket over them, and then we will be done for the day. All right, let's do it. Alright, here we are at the sink, and like I said before, just gonna run some lukewarm water over these to help break up any more of these little ice chunks that are still in there, and get this nice and soaked so we can put the seeds in and be done with this. So, let's get this started. All 4 trays are pre-watered. I got everything set up on my kitchen table. I'm going to set up the light in just a second. Just want to go over the 4 tomato varieties I'm growing this year. Yeah, I'm only doing 4 this year. Usually I go with like 6 to 8, and one year I actually did 25 different varieties, but I've really narrowed it down to the ones I really like and produce a lot and people give good comments on. So let's go over them. We've got Cherokee Purple, which is an heirloom staple. It's been around for, I think, at least 150 years now. It produces some really pretty 8-ounce tomatoes with some black striations on the inside and outside. Just beautiful tomatoes when you cut them. Everybody says they make really good salsa. Got the Black Vernissage, which is a little big, probably a little bit bigger than a cherry tomato, probably 1 or 2 ounces maybe. Beautiful striations like the picture here, and they get a deep dark red, and once the green stripes go away, that's when you know when they're ready. Super sweet, super juicy, everybody loves them. Going with a standard Rutgers tomato. These things are like the workhorse for the garden. Each plant will probably produce 20 to 30 pounds of tomatoes. Some solid, like 6 to 8 ounce tomatoes. Just a normal red color, nothing too crazy. In the past few years, people have really shown me they don't really care much about the heirloom variety weird colored tomatoes, so I wanted to get something regular that produced well and still has some good flavor. Last but not least, I'm trying out the Super Sweet 100. This is the first non-heirloom variety I'm going to grow to sell, and of course I'm going to market that way just so everybody knows. I want to be really transparent about everything I grow and everything I sell. So I've heard a lot of great things about these. Patrick from 1 Yard Revolution, he has a really good YouTube channel. He grows these every year. They pretty much look like grapevines, how they grow, and they're just covered in tomatoes like the picture suggests. And I really wanted to branch out and grow more cherry tomatoes because they sold very well last year. I grew just the Black Vernissage, and they sold out every time I put them on the stand. So branching out, trying this variety, see how it goes, and that's that. So right now we're going to start planting. And drew out my layout here. So tray 1 is going to be all Sweet 100s, and tray 2 will be half Sweet 100, half Black Vernissage. Tray 3 is going to be Rutgers, and tray 4 will be Cherokee Purple. Definitely going wild with the Sweet 100s. I hope they really sell this year. Time for saran wrap. Saran wrap will probably stay on for maybe a week to a week and a half until these germinate. We'll remove that, probably give them their first watering after that, and then we'll go from there. I really only have to water these maybe 10 times in the next 2 months, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so saran wrapping is done. Now we can talk about the lights. So, I built this rig like 3 years ago now. This is 3 LED shop lights from Sam's Club. They're 5,000 lumens a piece. They'll roughly altogether use maybe $6 worth of electricity in the 3 months that I'll need them. What else? They are full spectrum, I looked that up. They do run about $30 a piece, so this is quite expensive, but well worth it if you do want to start your plants indoors. And I built this little rig, pretty simple, just some really cheap wood here, nice support, and the hooks actually came with the lights, and the lights are zip tied right here, and you'll understand all this in a second once I show you the support things I have built for it. But for now, let's just lay this on top here, and of course I have this all on a timer once it's set up. I run them for, I think it's 16 hours a day. And then, 8 hours off. Works perfectly. The hooks on the back here hook into this rope, and that suspends the whole light system. And I actually have a little side here where I can tie it so I can adjust the height as they grow. Of course, I always start it right at the bottom and work my way up. Within about a month to a month and a half, the lights will be all the way up at the top and be almost at the point where I can throw everything in the greenhouse. So let's get the lights supported and get this started. Alright, and that's that. I mean, it's not perfectly straight right now, but you get the idea. Of course, as these grow, we'll just pull this string off and raise the light up. Pretty simple. I built these in like 5 minutes out of some scrap wood. They're definitely not anything perfect, definitely anything to brag about, but it was cheap. I mean, the whole setup probably cost maybe $100 because of the lights. Otherwise, it would have been super cheap, but I definitely didn't want to go with anything fluorescent or regular bulbs because I wanted to save money, because the whole point of this is for me to sell produce and make money. So didn't want to go too wild, but you know, you have to spend money to make money in the original investment. And that's what I'm doing here. So that's done. Well, don't really need to turn the lights on right now, but you get the idea. And now last step is I use one of these emergency blankets. Now there are usually two different kinds of emergency blankets at Walmart, Dick's, or any sporting goods store. You got the single-use ones that kind of remind me of like a saran wrap, honestly, or cellophane. They're super cheap and flimsy. And then you got this one right here, which can run from $15 to $30. It's very thick and really good at its job, honestly. I did the light system without this before, and it makes a huge difference. You got at least another 5 or 10 degrees of temperature it'll hold in place once the lights are on, because LEDs really don't put off that much heat because they are super efficient. But just throwing this on like this, and of course it is right next to my heater over here, so it also traps in moisture too. Just does a lot of good things. Another great initial investment. Yep, just doing this on like so. Just like that. And that is about it for planting tomatoes this year. Nothing too exciting is going to happen for the first couple weeks. Of course, I got to run back to Agway and grab some more Super Sweet 100 seeds. Throw those in there, get that set up, probably straighten out the lights a little more. I should start to see the seedlings within a week and a half. Last time it only took 4 days before some popped up, so I'm pretty hopeful. I really hope my seed saving from last year paid off and they actually grow. You know, I'm not the greatest at saving seeds. A lot of them don't end up growing for some reason, but that's that. I thought I would do a 1 week update before I end the video. Most of the seedlings have popped up now, and just want to give you a quick tour under here. So, under here, we've got the Cherokee Purples, the Rutgers, Sweet 100s in Black Vernissage, and more Sweet 100s. Everything looks great. Some of the seedlings are starting to form their, I forget the name, it starts with a C, colloquial leaves here. These are the sucker leaves that the plant uses to gain nutrients. And once those drop off, that's how you know your germination has really gone successfully and you're pretty much good to go with your tomato plants. So, just a little update before I end the video. And look at that. I've got dogs too. Say hello to Radagast and Shadowfax. They're in a lot of my videos, but it's been a while since I put them in, so I want to say hi to my little puppies. Yep, there they are. And one more shot of my baby tomatoes. Probably next video you'll see they'll be maybe 3 inches tall. Might do another one next week or the week after, who knows? So, let's go back. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe to the Baer family. And if you want to stay in the know for all my future uploads, turn on that notification bell and make sure it's set to notifications on always. I post a video every Monday at 3:30 p.m. I cut down a little. I'm not doing Fridays anymore because I wanted to focus more on making better quality videos and get my subscriber count up there so I can get remonetized. So, that's that. I hope to see you guys next video. Greg Baer out.